What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Lifestyle of Eden podcast. I'm your host, Nick Tognietti. Today, we're going to discuss what I mean when I say pay yourself first. Pay yourself first is something, unfortunately, let me rephrase that. Fortunately, that I had to learn the hard way. Of course, this speaks on financial, but it speaks on life. And I'm going to get into that. How I think that this is one of the biggest issues, that this is not just a CEO problem. At first, it started with me as a CEO, but then I started to realize with clients all over, friends, family, this was just a cancerous lacking of a thought process that we really need to reinstitute and establish in our lives with paying yourself first. Here's the other thing I also want to say. If at any time during this podcast you go, yeah, no, I do that in some areas, but over here I don't do that, but you're full of it. Remember one thing. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You don't isolate things to specific areas. Hey, I do that when I work out, but whenever it comes to my marriage, I don't do that. Or when it comes to my workouts, I don't, or my finances, or no, 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 no. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you don't pay yourself in certain areas, you don't pay yourself in every area. If you pay yourself in certain areas, you do it in every area. Remember, people are dictated by patterns, right? They don't do things in isolation. Human beings don't do things in isolation. We do things by pattern. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're meticulous and really detailed in one area, you're meticulous and detailed in every area. And if you're not doing it in a certain area, it's because you don't really actually do that thing, right? So let's discuss this. And I'm going to actually give a couple of examples on some clientele patterns that I picked up on and how I really started to get really focused on this. So as a CEO, one of the things that I've done, for a long time, for years, several years, is I've always been very meticulous when it comes to my nutrition, right? With my workouts. So it was always, hey, I've got to make sure I get up first, do my fasted cardio. I meal prep at the beginning of the week. Like I'm always making sure like I'm good, because if I'm good, then I can pretty much do everything else. I can take care of everything else. Well, I remember there was just this it came about in 2024, and 2024 was when it really started showing. Maybe that's just when it got detrimental. It might have started a couple years before that, though. But I know 2024 was the year that it got detrimental, where I realized my business like literally exploded in a powerful way. It became the fastest growing functional practice in America. I had one woman alone who I fixed up send me over 150 people. I literally had like three or 400 people just that year, like just trying to come work with me. I had a wait list. I mean, it was just it was insane, right? And then it just never stopped. And then 2025 just like was even bigger, and then it just kept going. Well, I remember in 2024, because I didn't have the systems in place that I do now, and I just quite frankly, I just didn't have the maturity that I have now, where I forsook my own well-being for the sake of the business. And all my clients got taken care of, the business got taken care of, the finances are thriving, all those things. But I started getting more and more sick and more symptomatic, more and more out of shape. I got kind of like in the worst shape I've been in a very long time. And finally, I just got miserable. Like on the outside, people looked at the business like, dude, he's thriving. But like, you have to understand, like, the business only has a part of my mind, right? I have to live with my own physique on a 24/7 basis. So like when I'm in the shower or I'm looking in the mirror, like those are times where I'm not in the business, like that's just me being me. And when you're not paying yourself, those moments catch up with you in those moments. And I'm like, man, I don't like the way I'm looking. Like I'm fatter than ever. Like I'm more out of shape. I'm not really sleeping. My sex drive is tanking. I just wasn't paying myself. So I remember it was, earlier this year in 2026, and then I got married, and then it was like in 2025, and so then 2025 also leading into 2026. Now I'm married, I have a son, And I'm putting my wife and son, on one hand, I'm putting them ahead of me and before me, but in a way that's actually not right. And I'll explain that in a moment. But I was no longer like getting like I would want to push my workouts. I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna get my workout in later in the day, right? And but the day just gets too busy when you're a thriving entrepreneur and CEO, and then you also have a wife and you have kids and all that. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like it's really not. Like by 6 p.m., I'm like, dude, I'm tired. Number one, like I'm not going to work out. And I'm not going to work out late because, I need to be up early and all that kind of stuff. And you think like, oh, I'm going to go work out on lunch and maybe that works for a day or two, but then it's not consistent. Like you just end up having things come up that you have to pay value to and focus and momentum to, and you still haven't paid yourself. So I remember it was like March or April of 2026, and I finally just sat down with Erica and I said, look, Erica, I'm freaking miserable. Like I hate myself. I literally hate myself. And I'm getting to the point where I'm getting bitter towards everyone and everything around me. I'm getting bitter towards, y'all. I'm getting bitter towards my business. I'm getting bitter towards ministry because I'm not taking care of myself. And I'm starting to get really not only pissed off, I'm legitimately getting depressed. Like clinically I'm getting depressed because I'm not happy because I'm not taking care of myself. Like I have autism spectrum disorder, right? I have Asperger's. So my routine and taking care of myself and being meticulous with my diet and feeling really good, those are not just like obsessions. It's actually a way of checking boxes that makes me feel accomplished. It is a literal dopamine feeling. It's a reward pathway for me. So that's why, like, even my calendar is literally full of check boxes for days and weeks on end. I know my tasks. And when I mark it off, it's an instant gratification that is healthy. Like, instant gratification is not super good to live off of. Like, you need delayed gratification, like discipline. But those are disciplinary gratification concepts that really make me thrive as a person. That's a major autistic concept, by the way. If you read autistic books, or teaching on those, like that's a critical part for making people with autism stay on track. Otherwise they can go to vices, drugs, alcohol, gangbanging, clubbing, porn, all of those other things. That is the literal way that you keep people on track. So I finally just approached my wife and I just said, like, I'm really struggling. And I said, listen, this may make you happy, it may not, but I'm telling you from now on, I'm looking out for myself, and I'm looking out for myself before you and Weston. And I said, from now on, I'm getting back to what I did for over 10 years, and that's waking up at 4 a.m. to take care of myself, which means I'm going to bed at 8. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I don't, I love you, but I personally don't care anymore because I've been officially pushed to a degree that started, it didn't start with my wife and my son. Like they were not the problem. This started back in 2024, and then it just went into every area of my life where now it's like, okay, now I'm married, now there's a kid, now I have a family, now I have this, now I have that, to where I was just allowing more and more stuff to get in the way before I paid myself. And I'll never forget my wife's response, man. Erica said, Nick, I think you do need to put yourself first. She goes, think about it. On a plane, what do they say? Put your air mask on before you put it on your kids, because if you are not taken care of and you're passed out, now your kids cannot be helped. You have to take care of yourself in order to pour into another cup. So, yes, you should not put us before you when it comes to taking care of you, because when you're taken care of, you're very selfless and take care of everything around you. So I thought it was super wise of my wife to say that because it was a perfect parable, right, of what I was feeling. So I started taking care of myself again and started paying myself first, to where it's like, okay, 4 a.m., I wake up, I have my 2 hours with the Lord and so forth. I'm working out first thing in the morning, at 6:15, 6:30, and then I start work. And now it doesn't matter what comes up at the work day. Guess what? I already paid myself first. My meals are prepped. Like I'm already good. My workout's good. If I don't get to move my body the rest of the day, it's like that's not ideal. Like I'd still like to go on a walk, but like I paid myself already. I'm good. It's the same thing with finances. People, they try to save what's left, but they don't pay themselves first. Like you need to pay yourself first. So when you get paid, you tithe to the Lord first, and then you pay yourself second. So you pay yourself first according to what you use your money for in this world. But like above that, you're paying God first. So you have to take care of yourself. People blame one of the biggest problems that I see. So like when I have certain clients that I've mentored, I'll say, "Hey, I'll tell them about their life. I'll be like, "Hey, you don't pay yourself first with this." And they go, "No." And I go, "I guarantee you, you also don't pay yourself with saving, do you?" And they go, "No." How'd you know that? And I go, "Because how you do one thing is how you do everything." And so people use kids and work as a cope or as a scapegoat as to why they can't take care of themselves. And it's a misprioritization and misstewardship. You should be paying yourself first before you pay your due diligence to your kids or even to your spouse. Why? Because if you don't, you're not being the person that you need to be. And now you're setting an example for your kids that you don't pay yourself first, to where we just create generational lack of prioritization in health. You have to be the best person you can be so that then you can give everything unto others. You become more valuable for others when you are the best that you can be. So you have to schedule this. And if you're married and you have kids and you have work and you have like I have everything, right? Like I have a wife, I have kids, I have a kid, I have ministry, I have business, I have multiple businesses. Like so nobody's gonna come to me and be like, well, Nick, it's different for me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's not different for you. It's not different for you. You think it's different for you, and you're being a victim. This is why you have your problems, is that you actually think it's different for you. It's not different for you. You're not special. Why do you think you're special? Stop thinking you're special. That's a victim mentality. And so you have to start speaking with your spouse. So, like, my wife is now setting up a whole new calendar where this morning we just had to discuss a new concept where it was like, Nick, you have this in the morning. Can we move this back 20 minutes or move this up 20 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes so that you can still go to the gym, but I have to go do this now in the morning. And then we've got to make sure we take care of Weston. And it's like, oh, no, no, yeah, okay, that's fine. We can move that around. Okay. Because either way, I'm still paying myself first. So, okay, that's cool. So you're gonna have to have those communication pathways, right? Because like our son is 5, so we both can't just leave. Like if he was 16, like we could both just leave. It wouldn't be a big deal. It's like he's 16. He doesn't need to be, we don't have to be here. But he's 5. So if you have a kid like a 3-year-old or a newborn baby, like you'll have to discuss those concepts. But the point is that you need to pay yourself first. And one of the best ways you pay yourself is you clear out your whole schedule. So even if you're a W-2 employee or you're a CEO, doesn't matter. So real quick, you can do this exercise with me. I want you to get your calendar on your computer or on your phone, and I want you to wipe off everything for next week. Wipe off everything. There's nothing on there. Zero. Zero. There's nothing on there. Not your kid's soccer game, not your work, not your lunch break, nothing. Wipe it off. There's two things that you put on the calendar, and then I'm going to explain a third thing, but two things that you put on the calendar. One, right now, put your 8 hour sleep window. So, like for me, my 8 hour window in bed is from 8 to 4, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's on the calendar. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Nobody else matters. Nothing else matters. Put it on the calendar. So if yours is 9 to 5, okay, if it's 10 to 6. But when people are like, yeah, I go to bed at 11 and I wake up at 4, like, okay, we're misstewarding. And you think like, oh, I have 3 kids and I got this and I can't do. No, 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 no. You just, quite frankly, you don't understand time management and discipline. Flat out. We all get the same 24 hours in a day, and our bodies all require the same concept. Scientifically proven, biblically proven. I don't care what you have to say. You can either listen and get results, or you can be a victim and you can stop listening to this podcast. I don't care which one. I hope for you that you're going to actually change and get results and not be the victim. But if you don't, then it is what it is. You're a grown person. It's up to you. So you're going to put your 8 hour sleep window. Okay. Now that we have that, the good news is you can just pause the podcast real quick. Just pause it. Put your 8 hour sleep window. Keep that thing consistent 7 days a week. And like on a weekend, like for me, it's like, Nick, might you go to bed like at 9:30 one night? Yeah, maybe. Like last weekend, For anniversary dinner, we were out at dinner till like 10:30. Like, you know what? Like things happen like that. You know what I mean? It's like I slept in till like 6 the next day. Just because my body really won't sleep in much later since my alarm's at 4 anyway every day. So, but things happen like that. But like generally speaking, like we're putting this down and we're sticking to it. The second thing, you're gonna put in a minimum of 60 minutes a day for body movement. That's your workout, that's your swimming, it's your Pilates, it's your 60-minute walk, whatever it is. Like you're putting down 60 minutes right now. So you're gonna put that down now. So if you're like, hey, this is gonna be for me between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Great, love it. Hey, I'm gonna have this during lunch break at like noon. Like whatever. I don't care. Put it down. Nothing else matters yet. Your work schedule, your W-2 job doesn't matter. Your CEO job, your kid's soccer practice, your daughter's ballet doesn't matter. Put those two down. Okay. Now, the third thing is your meal prep. You need to not be trying to cook every day. It's not scalable and it's just wrong. You need to have a meal prep to where it's like everyone's eating healthy. So like make a bunch of chicken, make a bunch of steak, make a bunch of vegetables. And you can do it twice a week, right? So like on Sunday, go to the grocery store. Every Sunday we have our grocery day, right? Sundays we do groceries and then we'll like make a bunch of ground turkey, we'll make a bunch of rice. Usually sometime midweek we have to do rice again. The only food that I make on spot every day is I make my breakfast on spot, my eggs and my oatmeal. I do that every morning. You can do it the night before if you would like. And then honestly, my wife does make dinner fresh every night, but granted, it's just the protein. Like I usually do rice or potatoes, and those are already pre-batched and pre-made. She'll do the protein, like, hey, we're gonna have fish tonight or something, right? And then the vegetables. But we do the organic bags, so like they come in a bag or something usually. Sometimes we do them just like straight fresh, but we'll get the organic ones, and then she'll, air fry it right before dinner. But lunch is already like prepared. I just got to put it together. So those three things are the things that have to be done. And then after that, you put your work schedule. And the reason being is you have to understand, I have people that are CEOs that I do teach how to pay themselves first. They're reformatting their business structure and their times to be like, hey, no, I need to make sure that I'm good. Like I have my time with the Lord in the morning. I wake up early. I get my workout in. I'm eating proper. Like, right. But then I have some W-2 people, and I'll give you an example. I have a W-2 person who's a PT, physical therapist, and they were running her into the ground because she was also managing the practice. And not a CEO, not an owner, totally a W-2, right? And it took her a year and 6 months, no, year and 4 months to actually do what I had to say. But eventually she got there. I remember I told her in February of 2025, if you don't stop this schedule, you're going to get sick again. Because she came to me sick in 2024. I totally fixed her up, reversed her issues. Then she got under this new job pressure. She wasn't taking care of her habits. And I told her in 2025, you're going to get worse than when you came to me if you don't fix this. She never fixed it. She got worse than when she came to me. And then finally, earlier in 2026, it caught her attention whenever her labs came back. And she said, Nick, I'll do whatever you tell me. And I said, okay, get on a call with me. We'll get on a therapy call. I want to see your schedule. And I realized, dude, she had no organization. She was going to the grocery store 5 days a week after she picked up her daughter from school at 3:30, and then she'd get home and then still be working till like 7:30, make a meal, and then she wouldn't ground. She wasn't doing body movement. Her sleep cycles weren't consistent. Like I was like, dude, we got a whole schedule we got to refix. Like we're not going to the grocery store 4 times a week. We're going once a week, maybe twice a week, but we're going once a week, Sunday or Friday, whichever. I don't care, but we're going once a week. Like this is ridiculous. So then I taught her how to do that. Then I said, now what's your lunch break look like? And she goes, well, I don't really have one. I might be able to rush a meal for like a 10-minute break or something during lunch, but right now they're not really giving me one. And I said, do you want to know that this is not their fault? Do you know that people only walk over people who are willing to be walked on? And I said, here's what you're going to do tomorrow. You're going to walk into your boss and you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm getting a 1 hour lunch break. This is non-negotiable. My health is officially X, Y, and Z. Here are my labs. You're giving me this, or I'm quitting my job. And I said, what does this have to do with? Dominance? No, it has to do with self-respect and the example that you're giving to your daughter. She walked in the next day and she did exactly what I said. By the way, I've had more than half a dozen people do this exact thing just in 2026 alone. Multiple of them are actually nurses. So for those who go, I don't think it's possible. Oh, it's possible because all of them did it. And now they all got what they wanted. And even if your boss tries to say no, then guess what? You get a new job because you can either choose to live a lifestyle that's going to induce sickness or you do something about it. But either way, don't be a victim and blame your boss. It's your fault that you took it. It's your fault that you allowed it. You have to get back to paying yourself first to where now you have the ability to have your lunch break or to go on your walks or to get your body movement. Like when we can't do the basics of life, the 7 pillars of disease reversal that I founded in Lifestyle of Eden, that's from the Bible, like grounding and body movement. Like when this client was saying, hey, I got a 7-minute walk in twice this week. Like, what? We're not grounding at all. We're not getting any body movement. Like we have no self-respect in paying ourselves. It's totally like it's beyond idolatry of the other things of life before what we're supposed to take care of, which is ourselves. And people do it in the name of jobs, in the name of their kids, in the name of this, in the name of that. I don't care. None of it is sufficient or justified. Period. When you understand that paying yourself first is the wealthiest thing you will ever do in this life, your life will change. But you have to start with yourself. So do the exercise that I showed you. Start creating the boundaries needed and start having some self-respect. I'd rather be broke than be walked all over in my habits not proportionate with what I need to perform at a very high level and just to be my best. People will walk over you to the level that you allow them to. And it doesn't mean they're trying to do it rudely. I've done it with family. My family's tried to message me on my personal phone with business things, and it'll stress me out. What do? I will tell them, hey, this is how it is. You're going to do this. You're going to put it here in this portal. You're going to put it in this app. You're going to do it on this. You're going to text this phone. You're going to do this. Why? They're not doing it to be rude. They have no malicious intent. In fact, they're ignorant. They're just doing it because that's just the way they think it's done. And they know that they've done that with you before. So why not just keep doing that? But when I set down my boundaries and I say, no, this is the way it's going to go, they go, okay. Most people are never not doing what is best for you because they don't want to. In fact, a lot of people are actually going to be very, very responsive and pliable to the rules, respect, and boundaries that you have for your life. They're just waiting for you to set them. Everything is a reflection of what you are giving and what you are allowing. You are in authority and control of the things that are going on in your life. So start paying yourself first. It's going to change your life. And it's one of the biggest principles of the lifestyle of Eden for your finances, for your health, for your marriage, for your kids, and the legacy and example that you give them. So I really hope that this helps. I think it's something simple, but I think it's profound because it ruined me for years until I finally got fed up. And then I started performing at a level that I've never performed at before. I pay myself first. I wake up at 4. I get my coffee. I have my meditation, prayer, and journal time. I get to the gym early. I'll do my hit cardio. I'll hit my ice bath or my cold shower. Then I'll hit my first meal. Bam, I've paid myself in 7 ways before most people have even woke up. I stack the micro wins, and I've got so much momentum now going into the day. It's just like nothing you've ever seen before. This is what you have to get into. Pay yourself first, perform at your best, and watch the fruit take place. Stay tuned for the next episode.